The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. Another real estate radio adventure today. As always, simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. That's where you could see and hear the show anytime you wish. Also, you can access the show archives for the last, 2 or so years. That's right, at stewart.com/radio. What great guests we have here today. Real estate, and one of the things that goes hand in hand with real estate, other than everything in the home, but pets. Today we have a special guest. As realtors and almost everybody else loves pets, dogs, cats. So we have the owner, Denise Einkoff, and the company is Wagon Tails Pet Ranch. And we're going to start with Denise right now. Let's welcome Denise Einkoff. Denise, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So there you are right now. And one of the things I say on the show all the times is dogs and cats love this show, especially realtors too, but the tails are wagging, just like the name of your company, during this show. So thanks for being with us.
Well, good. I'm glad they're going to enjoy it.
So first of all, many people already know about your company, Wagon Tails Pet Ranch, but let's tell them about it as you are the owner.
Okay. One of my favorite subjects. So we actually are now Wagon Tails. We have the Wagon Tails Pet Ranch, which is in Fulshire. Used to be a little bit outside of Katy, but now everybody seems to know where Fulshire is, the up and coming, especially for real estate. Then we actually just purchased in 2020, about 6 weeks before the pandemic, so perfect timing, Wagon Tails Animal Inn, which is in Richmond off Clodine Road. So now we have 2 locations.
So you know a lot about pets, especially dogs, I imagine.
Yeah, more dogs so than anything else.
So let's tell people, as far as let's lay out the menu of services that you have there, because I know you can board dogs and cats and even other, as you mentioned, a handheld animal. We'll talk about that in a second. Yep. Pocket pets, that's what I meant. Yeah. Handheld, what am I saying? Pocket pets. So in the meantime, but for let's take dog owners out here. What are the things that you can provide for the dog owner in the Fulshire area, and where else?
Richmond.
There you
go. So we are actually one of the few pet resorts or pet ranches who are all inclusive. So we do boarding, grooming, daycare, and training. Daycare, I'll tell you, is one of the things that has picked up the most, especially since 2020, and so many people got COVID puppies, COVID dogs, went back to work, needed somewhere to keep them. So we do. We also have several trainers on staff at both locations. We do group training, obedience training, private lessons, and then we also do grooming. So we have 2 groomers on staff as well.
That is a giant menu.
It's a lot.
Training,
which has also gotten very popular from all our COVID puppies to get in shape now and get trained to be a little more obedient.
So give us an idea, first of all, as far as the boarding. There are many people that need boarding services. In fact, there's some people that are afraid to use boarding services because their pets are always with them, but then there's that event they have to go to out of town or something. So let's tell someone that might be apprehensive about boarding their dog in this case.
Okay.
And what do the dogs do when they're being boarded by your organization?
So we are a little bit different in that we're an all-inclusive boarding place. So we charge by the night, not by the day. We don't have add-ons. Our price is our price. And what that includes for us, which we find very important, is we do feeding twice a day or however the clients want. We go in and out 3 to 4 times every day. And we also provide group play, which is basically if your dog is social with other dogs, we try to get them out and in play groups, which is like them going to camp. The ranch is on 15 acres, so we have 4.5 fenced. Just for 22 play yards, it includes a in-ground swimming pool as well as a filtered pond. So we even have swim time also included. So we try to figure out what your dog enjoys. get them out so that they're really not thinking about the owners being gone. That's our job, is to be the home away from home and have a good time. If we notice somebody's not doing so well or nervous, we work with the trainers to work on that as well. We have luxury suites where they can be a little more closed in and fancy with TVs and fans and cots and the whole thing. Or we have our bunkhouse runs that's more social. So we have 150 spots just at the ranch alone. So
wait a minute, 150 spots
just at the ranch in Fulshire and 105 at the inn in Richmond. So we have a staff of 49, so we have a lot of employees. All of them trained in CPR, first aid for pets. Several on staff trained for lifeguarding is what we call. There's always somebody out watching the groups, watching the dogs. If your dog isn't social and doesn't, would rather be with humans, then we provide that too. We'll do swim time, play ball, anything that we find they enjoy just to keep them from being nervous about boarding. We keep an average of about 200 to 215 dogs a night at the ranch, and an average of about 120 at the inn.
And is this on any given night?
No, usually holidays and weekends.
I was just going to say,
yeah.
I'm already going to put the word out. If whatever next holiday is coming up, get your reservation in early, because that is probably the busiest time, right?
It is. So spring break, we're already almost full. The inn still has some openings, but you do have to plan ahead a little bit when we get to summer and towards any holiday. We book up a couple months in advance.
And there's also some documentation that we want to bring that forth, so someone has to check with their vet and send over the papers, right?
Yes.
Some of those
and
details.
Honestly, I would tell anybody that's nervous about boarding, especially now with, a lot has changed in the animal industry since COVID in 2020. A lot of new pet owners, a lot of dogs were adopted, or we had a lot of fosters that were adopted during 2020, is if you want to figure out what's best for you and your pet for boarding or any service, go tour the place. I like somebody to come by anytime. We do tours from 9 or 10 in the morning till we close at 6. Saturday, we're open 8 to 3. Come by and we'll show you around. We don't schedule our tours where it's a certain time, every day.
Drop by.
We just want you to stop by and take a look, meet the people that you're going to be leaving your dog. It is like family, which is why we also want all the documentation. We need to know, where you're going to be, how we can get a hold of you, have they been vaccinated. But I would say stop by, tour, make sure you like what you see before you stay. Ask questions. Come with a list of questions. We're happy to answer it.
In fact, that's what I did. I took the tour, and one of the things I was very impressed with are the people that work there. They were very nice, answered all the questions, walked me around, and of course your dog, I guess, is the mascot. He was sitting there right at the front.
I have 2 office staff.
Yeah,
they are part of the office staff,
right.
The 2 dogs up front. So
what's his name, by the way?
My bulldog is Brody, and
that's
he'll
the
be
one
who
I
you
met.
remember. He's a big 65-pound English bulldog, and then I have a little small one named Wrigley, who's lived there. This is his 10th year up there.
Okay,
so.
A word other than dogs. Everybody loves dogs. What about the cats? Let's
So
talk
we
about
do cat boarding as well. Usually people will leave their cats with us if it's going to be longer than just a few nights and maybe not want to have them in the house for a long period of time. So we have a fantastic cat facilities at both locations. And we also do have some people that leave for a longer stay that need what we call pocket pets. That would be your birds, your ferrets, your hamsters, your guinea pigs. We've even boarded a bearded dragon, goldfish, or, we pretty much work as long as they come in their own enclosure and you bring what we need for them. We're happy to do it. We just only keep so many of those every holiday so that we're not, because we have a special place, we keep them separate. We've even boarded a potbelly pig, but that one actually was part of the family and boarded with their dogs and was house trained in a luxury suite, which my staff loved. And then I've even boarded a pet duck before named Petey that would follow us out to the pond and then come back in.
So never a dull moment at
Never.
Wagon Tail's Pet Ranch.
Never
It sounds
a dull
like fun.
moment.
I want your job, huh?
It is an awesome job, which that is why my staff, I think,
They're
shows
happy.
how happy they are working there. Yeah, all of them has a dog passion.
What a great job to be working in that sort of environment. Give us an idea of you could be doing many things, but here you are. You've been doing this over about 20 years or so.
Yep, almost 20 years.
What was the inspiration to start this to begin with?
So I actually went to A&M. Whoop. Have get my fan.
Get some A&M fans
It's an A&M. Some other Aggies. So I graduated with biomedical science and animal science from A&M. Always wanted to do something. My 2 favorite subjects, science and animals. I actually taught high school chemistry and physics for about 9 years. I loved the teaching. Taught it even at Katy High School for some of those. And then I just had an amazing opportunity because I was also a registered vet tech working at vet clinics during the summer, which is what I've done all the way since college. Realized from a lot of my vet friends that there just wasn't a lot of boarding in Katy when I opened in 2000. We started construction in 2004 and opened in 2005. Fulshire was 762 people in the middle of nowhere.
Now, I don't know the numbers now, but it's big.
It's big and keeps growing. But our vision was to have something besides just leash walking or kept in a cage. And we had some friends that had opened a dog ranch kind of based on like what we wanted to do in Austin area. So we just got lucky with one of our friends. That's what his dad did, was back companies, and we were able to pay him off in 2 years after opening, and we just kept on expanding from there.
So there's an example, too, as it relates to real estate. One of the many ways that there you are, you bought a lot of land, acres, and then that's the kind of real estate you need to do what you're doing. You need room and all that, and
right.
Here you have all the happy campers at the ranch.
All the happy campers, that's right. We love it. We live on property, so my kids were raised, with the business right there. It was a great. I love it. And my other location, I always said if I was going to expand, I like having staff on property. So I have 2 staff members that live in the apartments above the inn location. So
we know people. I have 2 dogs. Many people have multiple animals, but in the case of dogs, we know that every dog has a different personality. But you get to see that in play every day, where you're having 100 and some dogs per location, right?
Per location, right?
They all have a different personality. You see it. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, and what's funny is their personality around their owners. This is like running I always joke about it's running recess for a bunch of toddlers.
It's like, hey, the parents are gone.
The parents are gone now. So we see something usually totally different. It's not unusual to have, them act very different when their owners are there versus not, like they do with
and the owner's
kids.
like, no, my dog didn't. Really? They did that when I was gone?
Yeah, so we do report cards for everybody, just like a school. Let them know how they did the first time. We do a lot of information because sometimes you just don't know how your dog's going to act. And it's not any owner's fault. They just haven't ever had them around other dogs like we do. So that's why we have a very well-trained staff to watch for signs of
Is there anything
stress.
I didn't ask you that I should have asked you that's really important? And Larry, I put that out to you, our president, Larry Warren, who brought Denise here. What did I not ask that we should before we close this segment? We covered some good stuff.
We did cover some
we
good
could talk
stuff.
for hours.
I know. And when you guys asked me to come prepared, I was like, you don't have to worry. My 2 favorite things, my business and dogs. Whatever you want me to talk about, I can do that. Really, to go to both locations if you want to take a tour. We are always happy to answer questions. If you have dogs questions about, your dog. Training classes are starting every 6 weeks or so.
What about the personal training? You have that too, right?
We do. We have in-home
how does that
personal.
work? That's important.
Our most popular right now is private training during day camp. So you can drop off. We also have groomers at both locations, so we can do full hair spa days, and then we'll do day camp for half a day on those.
So for the private training, they drop the dog off during the day,
yes, they can
and
drop
your
off from
people
7.
work with them.
My people work with them. You will be usually assigned a trainer. They'll figure out specifically what you want worked on, and then they'll spend half an hour to an hour that day.
Very
during
nice.
day camp and pull them out at day camp.
I'm going to tell my little guy Elvis he's 15 pounds of trouble, so that might be in his future.
We have a lot in that program right now. It works very well.
So once again, you have the full menu. Let's tell people the website, Denise.
Okay, so it's wagontailspetranch.com or wagontailsanimalinn.com. You can always just search Wagon. It's WAGGIN. Tails, and you'll find both locations should pop up. They're in the Fulshire and Richmond area. So
boarding, grooming, training, daycare, pet accessories, you're covering it all.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, we have a boutique too. And right now we're running a special. If you bring your dog in, you buy a toy that's Valentine's, we take a picture, treats. Yeah, we do. Yeah. We have it all. We're a one-stop shop.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And we get cookies from the Warrens. We have the best clients ever.
That's right. Larry Warren, our president, he raves. He's been raving for years about the services.
We were just talking about it. He drove the 2-lane blacktop to get out in 2008.
Thank you so much, Denise Einkoff. You will be the official boarding facility for the show from now on.
Oh,
we're designating
that.
I'm just saying if it's okay with Larry, and I know it is. So thank you for being with us. Once again, the website is
wagontailspetranch.com.
The phone number?
281-533-0500.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you so much.
As we continue the show, it's now time to talk to LaWanda Lindsay. Her company is called Houston Home Realty Group. LaWanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it is good to see you. And now we're switching from animal care to real estate.
The real doggy dog world.
The real doggy dog
real
world.
doggy
And that's real
dog.
estate, right?
Yes.
All right. So first of all, let's
Real
tell
doggy
people
dog.
your company is Houston Home Realty Group. Let's tell people about it.
Houston Home Realty Group was established in July of 2019. I'm the broker owner. I was a broker associate for about 5 years prior, and I decided to go independent the 4th of July, 2019.
That's like
I gained my
Independence
independence. It's been pretty good ever since. Been in real estate since 2004. I mean, I just have done so much because God gives us a lot of gifts, and I don't want one to go unwrapped, you know.
You're using them all.
Yeah, and I just try to ask God, which one should I put back under the tree? Because
Well,
I get tired, you know.
Well, give us
I
an
do.
idea. You're helping buyers and sellers. Also, first of all, let's tell people, do you approach your real estate geographically, or how do you approach it?
I approach it, well, when I first started in '04, I would go anywhere. I would go anywhere my wheels would roll. And then once I became established and started figuring out what I like and finding out what my niche is, then I could be more selective. But at the beginning, I didn't.
But your office is in what area? Let's tell people.
Well, I have a virtual office because no one was going to the office. And I closed it. So now I have a space in the Regas, is that what it's? The Regas building in League City.
Okay.
But I pretty much do a lot of business in Southeast Houston, Southeast Suburban. Get a lot of referrals from Oklahoma because I graduated from OU. I know y'all Texas A&M. OU, and so I'm all on TikTok and everywhere. So it just to answer your question.
I'm glad you mentioned Oklahoma. Now, are people moving from Oklahoma to Texas?
Moving from Oklahoma to Texas.
What about the reverse, vice versa? Are they, anybody
Yeah,
going from
well,
Texas
a couple
to Oklahoma?
of people, but a lot of them coming because more opportunity here
And
in
of course,
Houston.
the no state income tax is a nice thing
That
as
too,
well.
yes, that too.
So you're helping buyers and sellers, but also you do some other things in real estate. Let's tell people about that as well.
I've been in education since 1999. I was teaching elementary school in low-income area, and that's what helps me in real estate, too. I'm able to relate to a lot of different economic backgrounds and different races and different religions because I taught in a public school, and so I'm real sensitive to that, and I know some of the needs that they need. But I started teaching, I was teaching elementary school for 10 years, and I was a realtor. And when I started making more selling homes than teaching, I was going to take a year off, and that was in 2010.
See how it goes?
Yeah.
So it worked out pretty well, and here you are these many years
Worked
later.
out pretty well. And so I cater to teachers and veterans. My husband's a military veteran. You know, whatever the needs are, I try to provide. And if I don't, I can let them know up front instead of dragging it out like some realtors do.
What branch of the service was he in, by the way?
Air Force Station in Macon, Georgia.
Well, it's an opportunity, as we always do on this show. We thank the veterans out there, first responders for serving, and those that are serving right now. That is a
Thank
super
you.
thing. And also in the real estate world, sometimes the veterans don't know the advantages they
Oh, my
have, right? Do you
God,
run into
yeah.
that?
Run into it
especially
all
the
the time.
first-time buyers, maybe.
Especially those that fought in Vietnam. They thought their VA benefits expired. You know, as far as getting a home zero down, they don't remember they have it. And so to put a 60-year-old veteran into their first home with just literally their signature is what makes it all worth it.
That's a big
Because
deal.
a lot of agents don't like or they talk against VA loans. And so I'm there to encourage it.
Use the benefits, know the benefits, and then use
Know the
them.
benefits. We've used them.
So as far as the marketplace, generally speaking, well, let's take even League City. We don't talk that much about that on the show, the League City area. How's the market in League City right now? If I'm
League
a
City?
buyer and I want to buy something out there,
What's your price range?
let's say it's $350. That's
You might can.
nothing.
How big you want the house? If you want it,
What can I get?
We have people that get approved for $300,000, $250,000, and back in the day, you can get a lot, but now you almost have to be at $350,000 minimum to get something decent. But I have a lot of people moving out to Manville, Iowa Colony, Rosharon, Arcola. They're moving down 288 because they can get more bang for their buck
So then
down
for
that way.
taking again that $350 price, there's some extra things there to have.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, $350 in League City is
It's slim, huh?
pretty tough. Just
well, where do we need to be in League City? 500?
see, everybody's different. So sometimes my clients that's looking will say, "Oh, you closed on this, you closed on that. What about us?" And I say, "Well, those people, they were coming out of an apartment. They didn't care if it was 1 or 2 car garage. They didn't care about some of the things you care about. So some people who
everybody's
are
different, right?
Everybody's different. You want the laundry room downstairs. They just wanted a laundry room. So we have to, everybody is different. I get those calls, especially when I close on something. They'll say, "Well, what about us?" I say, "Well, they didn't mind a 1,200 square foot home. You want a 2,500 square foot home." So we found them
And
something
a
a little
pool,
quicker.
maybe,
And
right?
a pool and no HOA.
Well, that's
That's
the
the
thing.
thing,
The
too.
real estate professional like yourself and others, the job that you have, you have to fine tune
Yeah.
to the person, to the properties, and all those sorts of
Like a
things.
doctor
So
visit.
it's not an easy thing, and you
No.
have to have, as the real estate professional, and do have the tools in your tool belt to say, okay, here's what we're going to pull out for
Either I
this
can
and
help
that.
you or I can't.
Right.
Kind of like when you go to the doctor, They do a consultation. They see what's all wrong with you and what's not wrong with you. And sometimes they refer you to another doctor, or either they work with you.
Or they don't want to see you again.
Or
Who
they don't want to
knows?
see us. I have a
They always
couple in
wanna have
18 years that I...
Hey, the doctor, first thing they want to, hey, let's see your insurance card.
They
right?
do.
you
Let's
have
see your
insurance?
pre-approval.
That's
Do
exactly.
you want to talk to the lender? Or So, yes, I just love what I do. I teach at the junior college. San Jacinto College, want to shout out to San Jacinto College. We have a great real estate program. We've received a lot of awards. And then also I want to shout out Knowledge is Power Real Estate Education. That's my mobile real estate school. I teach it's online classes and it's in-person classes. I do a lot with Stewart. Stewart was one of my main supporters, and then all the other title companies started jumping on board once they saw Stewart, you know.
go, yeah.
And so I just appreciate
follow the leader.
Yes, follow the leader. And I was able to recruit some agents from the junior college because just leverage. 'Cause
You mentioned the mobile education. Tell us about that. What'd you
Knowledge
call
is
it?
Power.
Yeah, Knowledge is Power. That's the name of. Is it a business or that?
Yes.
Okay.
The
What's that?
acronyms is KPRC for Knowledge is Power Real Estate Education.info. I go to different title companies, different builders, other brokerages who, maybe the broker don't have time to teach them the new contracts, and maybe they don't have
So
time
you're there to supplement the maybe
yeah,
a broker's
I go there and
education.
help. I go there and help, and then I teach night classes at San Jacinto College.
Pretty busy.
Yes,
mean,
I don't want God to change His mind.
That's right.
You
You
might
gotta
think I
use
don't have nothing to do.
all the talent.
Yeah.
we want to use them all.
Yeah, and I just go to bed early, take my B12 pills, and my iron pills.
Now
and
the
my,
B12 does that relax? I thought
it
B12.
keeps you going
That's what I was going to say.
Energy.
You take that at the end of the day?
at the beginning.
Oh, okay. I was going to say
At the
Okay, yeah,
beginning,
yeah.
B12, iron pills, vitamin D.
I take that.
You gotta take your vitamins
Absolutely.
and go to
Yeah.
bed early.
And I do follow some of those same things, but at night for the capper, I take a magnesium gummy,
Oh,
which
you
is
want?
supposed to wind you down a little bit, and I think it does.
Ah.
Did you ever try that?
I
Magnesium.
take melatonin.
Yeah. That's,
I don't hear a thing. You could be breaking in my house, I wouldn't even know it.
You don't realize, but at least you're getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah, at least I got to sleep so I can make a report the next morning. I guess.
You
I
have
don't
to-
hear a
you have
thing.
to have the
Boy, that
energy to make the
melatonin.
police report.
Yes.
That's a good point. So as you've been looking at 2023, right? Last year ended. How are you forecasting and how are you approaching this brand new year, 2023? It's already here, and I
Yeah.
mean we're done with the first month. We're on and marching
Yeah.
on. How do you think things will play out if you were to guess and speculate?
People are still buying, even
They have to.
yeah. Some people have to. We're part of one of the basic needs: food, shelter, and clothing. So we provide that. We have people still buying at 6% interest rate. They just have to. Nothing's promised, so might as well go for it.
And 6%. That's not really
Oh,
that
I
high.
bought
That's
my house
normal.
at 7.
You bought it at 7?
My mom bought hers at 18.
Wow.
Back
See?
in the 80s.
I was going to say that's
So-
going back quite a few years. 18%.
18% there. That was a deal.
Holy smokes. Well, let's tell people LaWanda Lindsay. Before we close the segment, what else do you want them to know before you tell them how to reach you?
Okay, I promised my agents I would give them a shout out. Alan Vega, Susanna Escamilla, Yesenia Salachi, and Eric Miranda. 3 of them are bilingual. Four of them are bilingual. And so I needed that on my team because I'm not bilingual. But I just want you guys to know that I am an owner agent. If you look me up, 5-star rated on Realtor.com, HARA, Zillow, and I'm real down to earth. And I care a lot about my veterans, a lot about my teachers, and a lot about and I care a lot for people who always thought they couldn't do it. And so I'm just there to help.
And let's tell people how they can reach you, LaWanda Lindsay.
Yes, you can reach out to me if you're on TikTok all the time. LaWanda Lindsay on TikTok, dancing and doing whatever I like to do.
Sounds like you sing too.
I do.
A little bit.
Don't get me started. Yes, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the social media platforms, except for Twitter sometime. But HoustonHomeRealtyGroup.com. Check us out, free consultation. If you're interested in having a class at your brokerage or at a new home builder, knowledge is power, realestateeducation.info.
And your phone number is?
And I'm married, so 832, we get a lot of those calls, 545-7005.
Sounds like you said 832-545-7005. LaWanda Lindsay. Thanks for being with us,
Yes, you're
LaWanda.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And it's time to talk money with Nas K. Her company is
Van Dyke Mortgage.
Van Dyke Mortgage. Nas, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me here.
We're talking about all sorts of things today, and no show would be complete without talking a little bit about money, right?
Yeah, that's the important part, isn't it?
Well, money, like they say, location. I say money to buy real estate.
Yes, I say that too. Every morning when I wake up, I say money. So
Exactly. So first of all, let's tell people about your company, Van Dyke.
okay, we are a mortgage company. We are licensed in 47 states. If you are living in anywhere, not in Texas, anywhere, you can always contact us and we can always help you. We have all the product, USDA, VA, FHA, conventional.
Veterans, helping the veterans.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's the one I love. Yes, so we can help with any kind of mortgage and product you need.
So important because you're covering a lot of bases, but right here in Texas. So I guess that might help because your company has locations in other states. That might help maybe if someone's moving from another state here to already have a relationship with your company or to create one. Would that be true?
Yes. So it's pretty easy for people. They want to either move from Texas to another state or from another state to Texas. So it's really easy because we can do both loan with one company. You know, they don't have to go another company or so. We can help everybody moving in and moving out.
So right now, as we talk about people moving around anyway, those that are moving in, let's say in the last 10 loans that you've helped people with, right? Just at random, the last 10, how many of them have been where people are coming from another state? If any?
2 of them.
2. So there you
Yeah.
go. 20%.
Yeah. Still people are moving. Yeah.
They're still
They do.
and then what about, now it's all relative. People are saying 6% interest rate, 7%. That's, in one way, that's not really that high. And many of us would say that's normal. But how are you seeing the marketplace react to the current interest rate, whatever it is for that person or couple, when you talk to them and say, oh, okay, the interest rate on your loan will be X?
It's
How does
the
that work?
interest rate is depend on many different factors, as everybody knows. It depends on what kind of loan product you want to get, what kind of credit score you have, how much money you make, and
How much we put down.
yes, is it your first house? Is it your second one? Is it investment? You know, so all the things affect it. But now we are talking somewhere around 5.8 to 7 for conventional. But so different type are different. Like if it's investment, it's a little bit higher. If it's a bank statement loan, again, it's higher. But it's based on many different factors.
So, and let's take the factor of where someone has when you see a high credit rating, right? When you're helping a client or a family, you see their credit rating, I guess, at some point, right? First of all, when you see a higher credit rating, what number is that, by the way? What are you seeing when you see a high one? How high does it go up to? 800 something, right?
Yeah. But, when I see anything more than 7, that makes me happy.
So, like, you need sunglasses.
Yeah, I'm
to look
like,
at the...
yeah, you did a good job. So, yeah.
But if you see 800 something, is
that I dance.
Okay, so now that we got singers, dancers, everything on this show. That's right. Everybody, it's a complete, we try to give them everything.
I know. We can entertain them.
That you know what? This is show 464, 60. I don't know what it is. We're getting in the high numbers. We've had a lot of real estate and a lot of mortgage professionals, but that's the first time we heard someone that dances, and that's so well put.
That's how I start my day.
So those 800. So if you're out there with that 800 credit score, we want to see Nas dance. So give her a call and buy a home for right.
But don't worry, I give you another option to dance for you.
Okay.
Okay. If your credit score is not that high, you give me a little bit time, I can repair your credit for free if you give me a few months.
A few months.
And then I can dance for you after a few months. But you just have to wait.
That is a good point. So let's just say someone has, and when you say the lower credit rating, what number or about are we at roughly?
Okay, the minimum is 580 that we can work.
All right, so
if you are lower than,
you're not getting a house, you got to wait.
You have to wait a little bit.
But yet, even if you have great credit rating, usually buying a home and getting a loan, you have to do some preparation anyway. You want to plan for all the things that go with it. So when you're saying someone with a lower rating, you might improve that in a few months. You'll help them. How do you do that? Is it a secret?
Do you want?
No,
I cannot relive all my secrets. And then tomorrow you start doing my job. Come on, don't ask all of that.
Just a bullet point.
So that's how we look at the credit history. We pull up the credit history. So we look at it and then
you analyze it.
I'm not gonna tell you what we do.
Okay.
But we tell them, okay, if you pay this one in like the next 6 months, next 3 months, then we're gonna say, okay, this credit card you have to pay it off. This one you have to pay it off, or this one you have to leave this much amount on it. So we gave them some.
But the point is, what you're doing is you're giving people hope because you have a way that you're able to help them. That's really what's important. But you have to allow a certain amount of time, and you have to have you and or your team analyze the situation.
Yes. And they have to listen to us and work with us.
They have to deploy what you
exactly because if they don't want to work with us, if they don't listen, I cannot make miracle. I can sometimes, but.
We don't want to promise that. That would
but you
also
have to listen, okay? You have to be a good student.
That would also be a show first if we promise miracles. We don't want to do that due to legal reasons and the fact that Larry's here. So, exactly. That's a good point, though. Yeah. I like that. So the point is you're creative to tailor to the needs of the family or individual. It sounds like you're on top of it there in that way.
Yes. I love helping people. And what I always tell everybody is when you decide to buy a house, even if you want to buy a house in 6 months, if you want to buy a house next year, contact your lender and realtor. Contact us, ask me, how can I help you? Because there are things that we can tell you. Okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Don't go co-sign for anybody. Don't go buy a big car. So we can
don't
always
buy a car if you're in the process of a loan. Let's get the loan and the home closed, and don't be buying all these extra things.
So there are many things we can tell you for you to get prepared. Don't just call us last minute. Oh, I'm going to buy a home, and it's always helping you if you consult your lender earlier, a few months earlier, and we can tell you what to do.
That's a good point. And once again, the reminder is let's say if I'm thinking about buying a home in 6 months from now, it's a good, maybe I ought to check with you now just to be safe, even if I have great credit, right?
Yes, exactly. It's always good to consult with your lender a few months earlier.
The point is be prepared.
Yes.
Be prepared. If people don't remember anything on this show, then be prepared. We've done our job, I think, Nas.
You think so?
I think so. Okay. So let's tell people, and you almost you gave us a clue, but what is it you love so much about this profession and what you're doing?
Oh, the best day is my closing day. When I go, usually I try to go. Lender, some of them they don't go. Some of us go. I love
Like
to
at
go.
Stewart Title, especially, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love to go to Stewart Title. I always find an excuse to see them, and you go to their office. So whenever I go close, and when they sign, and when I see the smile, and when I see the family is happy and they are ready to
Keys and the checks are passed.
Yeah,
huh?
I love that moment. I really love it.
And not only that, Kevin Davidson does such a great job, huh? And he's right there probably to take pictures and post it on Facebook 500 times. He takes one post.
Exactly.
He does that, doesn't he?
Yes. And all the picture Kevin take at the Stewart Title, amazing.
That's right.
You look better in his picture.
Is that right?
I promise you.
Wait,
Yes.
wait. So you're saying I don't even want to know that? You're saying I look better in the picture than here you're in real life?
Yes.
Oh, Nass. Okay, well, on that note, it's really been great talking to you.
I said you're already good looking, but you look better.
Yes. Okay. Well, check out, that's why I tell people to go to stewart.com/radio.
Exactly.
Well, Nass, before we close the segment, in the money world or anything else, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing and how you're helping people in a tremendous way?
Okay, when you decide to buy a house, the first thing you have to do is get pre-approval. And
Call you.
And call me. Because if you want to make an offer on a house, when you don't have the pre-approval, you cannot do it. And no agent, waste their time going this houses and that house for you without knowing how much you can
Gotta be
afford.
pre-approved. Exactly.
So the first thing you need to do is get the pre-approval and see how much you can afford, and then we go forward.
And then we
if
go
you
from there.
decide to work with me, which I hope you do,
And then they can call you at, let's tell them how to reach you.
832-572-8345.
Nass K.
832-572-8345. 832-572-8345.
And thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is from Texas A&M and Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett. Hey, John.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
So here we are once again, a show with another Aggie, and we didn't even tell Denise that there's an Aggie hotline to call Stewart Insurance, but we will soon.
We
right?
will, that's correct. And you know what? We just opened up a Fulsher hotline.
Is that right?
Yes,
Oh,
we
man,
did.
we're covering all the bases.
Yeah,
at
and
Stewart.
Sugarland as well.
It's
And
awesome.
League City, all the new hotlines.
Well, that's awesome. So here we are once again. An exciting insurance segment is here for all the people that wait every week for this. So what should we hit?
I've been spending some time lately looking at what are some of the projected trends for insurance in 2023, especially in the property and casualty world. So I wanted to share a little bit about some of the trends that some of the industry experts are seeing, and then maybe some things that we can do together to take care of the situations, however it might affect you. So the first came from an organization called Business Insider, and they're an interesting read online. And they provided kind of a nice general overview of what they see happening in the property and casualty world in 2023. One thing that we're seeing, and it really applies to both individuals as well as businesses, is the insurance companies are wanting us to take on more risk ourselves. So that can be a couple of ways. Either
And that means us being the individual
Us
or
being-
homeowner or the family.
or
Okay,
the company
Okay.
or the real estate broker.
Or the broker.
And that can be a couple of ways. One, an increased deductible. So as an individual or business, we pay more prior to the insurance kicking in if there is coverage. And the second way would be, there are ways that we can minimize risk, and they're asking businesses more and more to establish and execute ways to minimize risk before they'll consider coverage. So that's a couple of things that we're seeing. We're also seeing that we're clients that have been exposed to either high catastrophe situations like hurricanes or storms or floods. Or if you've got clients that are poor loss history, which means they have claims, that we're seeing a fairly significant increase in premiums, 25% up to, in some cases, 250% if they were to have either a really disastrous claim or situation, or they had a really claims history. And then if you're in good shape, that you don't have claims and you're not in a situation where you might have a catastrophe, then the premiums could be a little flat, maybe a slight increase or a slight decrease. So, the takeaway from the Business Insider aspect is, that there's a chance that you may have to have a bit higher premium because they're wanting us to offset some more risk. And two, where you are geographically is going to have an effect on the premiums you have. So even if you've never had a claim, if you live in the Gulf Coast, there's going to be
Florida, certain parts of Florida.
Well,
right?
we're going to talk about Florida. The next one was a great paper that was released, white paper that was released this month from Lockton, and Lockton is the world's largest independent insurance broker. So they are a big version of Stewart Insurance, not as good, of course, but a big version. And their white paper was Real Estate Insurance Markets Under Pressure, Current Trends and 2023 Outlooks. And some of the key takeaways is, in their opinion, there have been 3 inflection points that have taken place over the last 5 years that have truly affected rates and premiums, deductibles, and coverages that are offered or not offered. The first one was Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and Hurricane Maria that all took place in 2017. Really affected Florida, affected Texas, and affected Puerto Rico. And it kind of began a trend that we've seen over the last 5 to 6 years with having more and more catastrophes. So felt like that, you had that plus the low interest rates, plus then the beginning of inflation. It really strapped the capital that insurance companies have and strapped the capital that the reinsurance companies have. So with the low interest rates, insurance companies they offset sometimes their revenue from premiums by buying bonds. Low interest rates, bonds aren't performing as much, so sometimes they have to go to reinsurance, which is insurance companies buying insurance. Both of those became more expensive. The second inflection was Hurricane Ian that took place in Florida, and it really did stress an already stressed market. And it was one of 18 catastrophes that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded in 2022. So it was one of 18. So we already had a stressed market, even more so in 2022 with those 18 storms. Somewhere in the total of damages of somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 billion. So, that's inflection point number 2. What that caused was now you're going to see increases in deductibles. Again, the insurance companies wanting their partners, the insured, whether it be us as an individual or a company, to take on more responsibility, but you're also going to see an increase in premium. The other thing that we're seeing is in the areas where there's a chance for catastrophe, so the Gulf Coast, the East Coast, you're seeing an increase in population, and you're seeing an increase in population density, so the number of individuals per square mile. So in Florida, between 1970 and 2020, they've seen a 317% increase in population and population density. So you got more people in a more compact place living in an area that has a better chance of a catastrophe. And we've seen that here. And then finally, the skyrocketing replacement costs has been an issue.
And even unpredictable, too, because supply issues and that.
Yes, supply chain, are things properly valued? Are we able to get materials, the cost of construction? So those all have come into play. So one of the things that in the Lockton white paper that I found really interesting, and it's some items that we talk about a lot on Real Estate Matters, is what are the things that I can do as an individual or a business to offset these risks or to minimize maybe some of the issues because of that.
I thought of one. I'm thinking
Give it to me.
Retiring in Wisconsin.
Retiring in Wisconsin, yeah.
They don't have these issues, I don't think.
Montana or Wyoming, yeah.
Or there you go. Okay. Other than that, though,
Other than that,
if we
well-
want to earn a living.
Well, one would be an accurate submission. So is the information you're providing detailed, accurate, up to date, and are you providing everything that the insurance carrier is asking for? I have a prospective client right now that I'm working with, and we're working on an errors and omissions plan option for this brokerage. The brokerage misread the question on the application that said, have you ever had or been a part of, or a member of your team been a part of a claim in the last 5 years? And they interpreted the fact that, yes, they had had 2 claims, but since they were closed and there were no damages on their part, they're okay. But that's not what was asked. So we had a preliminary quote. It was in line with what they were looking for. But as we were finishing up the application, the question came up about have you had a claim? Well, we had those 2 that came out in 2020, but they're not there anymore. And that wasn't the question. So now we've had to go back and resubmit the application, and now there's a question on whether we're going to get coverage. So be sure and be accurate in the development of the application and the information that you provide the insurance carriers. Understand what your risk tolerance is. We've talked about this a couple of times. There's chances that there's going to be increased deductibility. There's going to be a chance that there's going to be a need for your organization to do more things prior to being insured. Can you handle that? Are you prepared for that? Third would be enter the renewal discussions with a clear strategy. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you concerned that you're not properly insured? Are you concerned that, hey, my brokerage went from 25 agents to 100 agents? Or I've gone from being in Houston to now Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Denver. What are those things that you're trying to accomplish? I have another client I'm working with now on errors and omissions, and we looked at 3 options. The 2 of the 3 options provided him better coverage than they currently have. But their biggest concern was with the change in the market was financial, and that they really did need to reduce their premium. So I was able to find them a plan option that reduced their premium by about $3,800. Now, the depth of coverage is not there, and we talked about that and made sure that they were clear and understood that, but the premium was less. So again, that was their strategy going in, that they needed to, from a business perspective, decided that they needed to save some money. And then the last one is the broker matters even more so. Who are you working with? Are they able to help you walk through these potential landmines? Are you working with an insurance broker that focuses in your area? So with Real Estate Matters, are you working with somebody that understands real estate? Somebody that when they present a plan, it's with a carrier partner that also understands real estate, and that plan was built for real estate companies versus just a generic plan that they've adapted. So those are the kinds of things that you need to look for. Well, if you'd like to be properly insured.
I know we all would right in this room.
Well, I would sure hope so. Whether it be an individual or a family with your home, your wind, your auto, motorcycle, or if it's a business, property management firm, real estate broker, realtor, independent title attorney, agent, lender, we can help you with your business insurance. And you can touch us at 866-798-2827. That brand new Fulshire League City Sugarland hotline is 866-798-2827.
And the Aggie hotline.
866-798-2827.
John Bramlett.
Excuse me. And the OU hotline is 866-798-2827.
That's right. And, of course, the website is stewartinsurance.com. John, thanks for being with us once again.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
And as we continue, we're going to bring back Denise Einkoff before we close the show with Wagon Tails Pet Ranch for a final thought. Denise, welcome back. And before we close things down, what else you want people to know?
Let's see. It is not too early to book for holidays. How about that? Let's throw that out there.
Be ready for that. I think that's
Summer,
so
Thanksgiving, Christmas. We can book a year in advance. And also you get I forgot to mention, if you've never been to us before, your first day of day camp is free at either location.
Really?
So you can come try us out, take a tour at the same time, meet the staff.
Well, I think
Call to reserve.
Call to reserve.
Or go online.
Check it out. And the website is?
WagonTailsPetRanch.com or WagonTailsAnimalIn.com.
And I think the training part is also, there's so many things to talk about with your company, but the training is very important. Dogs and cats. I don't know if you can train a cat, but the dogs need training.
No, we don't even offer or pretend that we will ever be able to train the cat. I would be very, very well off if I could figure that one out, probably.
But the dogs need training.
Dogs
and there's
need training.
still a lot of dogs out there
There's
that
a lot
need some help, and you could do it right there at your company.
We can, either location.
Boarding and all that. Wagon Tails Pet Ranch. Again, the website is?
WagonTailsPetRanch.com or WagonTailsAnimalIn.com.
LaWanda Lindsay. LaWanda, a final thought as we wind things down. Of course, your company is called Houston Home Realty Group. LaWanda, what do you think? What should we tell people before we close things down?
Well, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. Houston Home Realty Group, we mainly operate in Southeast Houston, Southeast Suburban, but we do not hesitate going to the north side. Or we just closed on 15 acres in Centerville, Texas. So
I'm going to open a pet ranch. That's
I was
15
thinking
acres
when you
like
said
Denise.
15 acres, yeah.
How about in
So,
Centerville, Texas?
One of my agents went out to Centerville and we sold it.
Now, just out of curiosity, what
Yeah.
did 15 acres roughly go for in Centerville,
Centerville,
Texas?
about
roughly?
160.
160.
Between 160 and 170.
So that's a lot of room.
It's a lot of room. It's good for hunting. Just has a lot. It has a lot you can do out
So
there.
you're knowledgeable about all these opportunities out there. LaWanda Lindsay.
HoustonHomeRealtyGroup.com, 832-545-7005. Knowledge is power, realestateeducation.info.
And the number again is?
832-545-7005. And if you're on TikTok, just TikTok LaWanda Lindsay. If you're on Instagram, LaWanda Lindsay. If you're on Facebook, LaWanda Lindsay with an E. Lindsay is not with an I or a Y.
That's
with
an
an
Lendsey.
Yes,
2
sir.
E's in that name. And
Yeah.
thank you again for being with us. And thank you, Rachel Saunders, for bringing LaWanda here. But she is back, Nass K, with Van Dyke Mortgage. Nass, well, here we are. You're going to help me land this plane, it looks like. And welcome back. Before we close the show, what do you want to tell people?
One more time, I just want to tell everybody that if you are renting, you are paying somebody's mortgage. So don't hesitate to buy a house. And we have lots of programs. If you don't have a down payment, we can help you with down payment assistance. We have lots of other programs. And you don't need 20% down payment. That's what everybody think that, I need 20%.
You don't have to have the 20%.
No, you don't need that. You can buy a house with 3.5 to 5% down payment.
Well, that's a good point. You mentioned people that are renting. A lot of people think, wow, I can't afford it. But there they are paying $2,000 a month, $15,000. It just depends. So they could be a good candidate for that first-time purchase right here in 2023 with you.
Yes, with me. Yes, don't forget that part.
Nass. Okay. Nass, let's tell them how they can reach you.
Okay, you can call me at my cell, 832-572-8345. I have Facebook, NASCARI. I have Instagram, and LinkedIn is all under my name, NASCARI, and then you can reach out to me. I'm always available, weekend, holiday, anytime. 832-572-8345.
Thank you for being with us. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik, together with Larry Warren, John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, Justin Ramirez. All of us at Stewart Insurance and Stewart Title. Just reach out to us at Stewart.com. Or if you want to access any of these shows and see the fantastic guests for this show or the last couple years, simply go to Stewart.com/radio. Stewart.com/radio. Thank you for being with us, and thank you all. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week.